Gimondi finishes. Merckx coming in to cross the line.
Eddy Merckx wins the time trial by 27 seconds and gains over a minute on Gimondi. He has covered the course in 49 minutes 31 seconds, which means he has averaged 30 miles an hour over a distance of 25 miles. Fuente has done well. He has lost only 1 minute 12 seconds to Merckx and retains his overall lead. But his advantage over the Belgian is down to 18 seconds.
Giro per noi rappresenta una grande manifestazione.
For the mayor of Forte dei Marmi, the Giro d'Italia is a great tourist attraction. The Giro is a free entertainment for 12 million Italians, and at least 1 million of them line the 25-mile route around Forte dei Marmi. The town council put up £20,000 to stage the time trial, and they consider it money well spent in terms of publicity for their region. The race costs around £1.5 million. Some of the money comes from the magazine Gazzetta dello Sport, and some from private sponsors like salami manufacturers and hardware stores who put up their signs and banners along the route.
It went much better than I hoped. After all, the time trial isn't my speciality, but I did produce as good a time as I can manage. And the main thing is that Merckx wasn't able to snatch the pink jersey away from me.
I think it's going to be much more difficult for me to win the Giro this year than ever before. Fuente has become much stronger, and the course has too many climbs and mountain stages. They don't suit me. In fact, this Giro is a circuit for the mountain specialists. I've got 43 pounds more than Fuente to haul up the climbs, and that gives him a big advantage. Still, the finish is in Milan, and before then I'll do what I can to catch him. I just don't know whether I can or not. It'll be tough, but I'm going to try.
14th stage from Pietra Ligure to San Remo.
It's still one big bunch with Merckx and Fuente at the front together and keeping a watchful eye on each other. The torrential rain has made it bitterly cold now. Merckx has attacked and leads the field. Fuente is back in third place. And we don't know why, but Fuente is in a little bit of trouble there. He's got problems now because he's going further and further back and trailing by 2 minutes 30 seconds at the moment. .58 miles gone, and Fuente is even further behind. The leaders are Merckx, Gimondi, Bitossi, Baroncelli, and now they've got 4 minutes 30 seconds clear of the little Spaniard.
At the finish in San Remo, a complete sensation. At a single stroke, Merckx takes a huge overall lead. He finishes 7 minutes, 43 seconds ahead of Fuente. And Fuente has to yield the pink jersey.
Simplemente que ayer me encontraba con una confianza en mí como jamás había visto.
As a matter of fact, I was confident I was going to win this stage. I even asked my teammates to force a really fast pace. When we got to the feeding station, I didn't want anything. Wasn't the least bit hungry. Suddenly, the Molteni and Bianchi teams attacked, and I had nothing in reserve. I'd simply eaten too little. It took my last ounce of strength to get to the top. After that, thank God, it was downhill, and I coasted to the finish. It was a disastrous mistake.
These are the terrifying Trecime di Lavaredo.
The Dolomites, well, I suppose all mountains, are among the most beautiful things in nature. But for us cycling pros, they are the ultimate test. We're afraid of them, really scared. We start getting nervous days before the tougher mountain stages. And this morning at breakfast, each one of us is trying to hide his apprehension. We can already feel the cruel punishment ahead of us. We're all asking, am I going to be able to stay with the leaders, get to the top, among the first? The question haunts all of us. You shouldn't over-dramatize sport, but here in the mountains, words like torture and pain are not out of place. This is where you reach the limits of endurance.
Ancora.
The riders are coming up now to the start, and everyone in the pack and in the crowd knows that today is a very special day.
The 20th stage, the climax of the Giro. 3 difficult mountains in one stretch. Monte Rest, 3,420 feet. Passo Mauria, 4,209 feet. And finally the supreme test, 7,800 feet up the Trecime road. The winner here carries off the most coveted mountain prize, the Cima Coppi, named after the great racer Fausto Coppi, and worth £4,000.
We're between the Passo Mauria and the start of the final climb, and Fuente's making a break. Here, on this endless, inhuman ascent up the Trecime, lies his last hope of rectifying his mistake at San Remo, of making up the time he lost there, of snatching victory in the Giro. This is the Spaniard's last chance.
On Monte Generoso, he recovered over 2 minutes. On the Colle di San Fermo, it was only 30 seconds. In Sella Val Sugana, he gained not 1 yard. Nevertheless, he has made good more than 2 minutes. His deficit is now 5 minutes, 9 seconds. Can he succeed in one great burst in making up this time, in closing the gap?
Fuente has shaken off the chasers and is approaching the last big climb.
On the mountain stages, particularly when I'm giving everything I've got, I'm very afraid of cramp. I always think of Monte Carpegna a couple of years ago. Even though I had a lead of 9 minutes over Eddy Merckx, I decided to attack and lost the lot. The reporters really went to town about me. The truth was that I'd got cramp. Cramp is an invisible wound. You can't imagine what it's like unless you've got it. But the pain is dreadful. It's so dreadful you just don't want to go on, but you have to go on. One night when I was dropping off to sleep, I started thinking how lovely it would be if some reporter suddenly got cramp in his fingers in the middle of writing his article about me. But he couldn't just stop. He had to go on, tapping away at his typewriter with his agonizing cramped fingers, just as we have to write on. If they went through that, I think some critics might write differently about us when we're in trouble on the mountains.
Fuente is still out on his own at Lake Misurina and is beginning this critical climb up the Trecime de Lavaredo. The first bunch, led by the Schoonmaker, the faithful lieutenant of Eddy Merckx, with Merckx just behind, are 40 seconds back. And the little Spaniard is increasing his lead now as he starts up the big climb with 5 miles to go and all uphill. The group chasing Fuente is now 45 seconds behind. Merckx is in the lead of it, then number 11 Gimondi and number 132 Baron Kelly. 20 seconds further back it's Tino Conti of the Zonka team, and he's followed up by Francesco Moser of Filatex, this young Italian hope who they reckon will take over from Gimondi himself.
Being a mountain specialist is very hard. Not that I'd rather be anything else, because I don't think you can become, well, let's say a better human being without effort. You can beat the problems of life much more easily if you've met hardship. It sometimes looks as if the first rider to the top has done it fairly easily. You tend to feel more sorry for the men who've knocked themselves out to make the climb at all. But believe me, to be quicker than the rest, and in particular to be quicker than the other stars, involves a lot of pain.
A cyclist uses 6,000 calories during a mountain stage. He prepares for this grind by doing 3,000 to 3,500 miles.